All right. Okay, we are the Radio Twins.
I'm CJ.
I'm JJ. And if you all don't know who we are, we're usually on the radio Saturdays at 3 p.m. If you want to hear the radio show live, you can always stream us by going to TheRaydioTwins.com. That's
TheRaydioTwins.com.
And if you ever want to check out our apparel line, you can always go to borntowinstore.com. That's BORN, the number 2, WINSTORE.com. You'll find that tab on the website. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us there. You follow us, we follow you back. We're on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok.
You name it,
we're on it. So, and this is the Radio Twins experience, and this is where we interview interesting people with interesting backgrounds, because we believe that everyone has a story to tell. And tonight, that is no different.
None at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know them, and of course we already know them.
Right.
The Wonder Twins, Billy and Bobby. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, fellas?
What up, twins? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Word. Now, I think I described on letting people know about the interview that you guys are not just dancers. It's like more of an experience. If you've seen them perform, it's an experience. I'm telling you. They have their hands in so many different things that we're going to be talking about. But how did you get into dancing, first of all?
Oh man, we got into dancing from family events. To be completely honest, just the culture of our family was a culture of our family is entertaining, period. Even if it wasn't dancing, it's just a fun nature culture within our family. It's just 6 of us with our mom, single mom. So the culture of dance came from the culture of just being in a good space with our family all the time. And that's when dance came along. I think it was more about the traditions that we had in our family. Like, one of our traditions when we were younger was watching Soul Train every Saturday. So that was like really important to almost like shaping. It didn't just shape us in dance; it shaped us in discipline too, because we watched that together. It's not like we just watched that; we watched all those things together, and it shaped how we saw the Black experience of performing on TV. So that's how it started.
And of course, the cookouts.
Yeah,
dancing at the cookouts and all that,
and the barbecues and all those different things. It's shaped from there. That's where we got the first love of performing, and also the love of seeing people, basically, as corny as it sounds, happy from what we were doing back then.
And before we go any further, I gotta say happy 50th hip hop.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm saying that. And for those who don't know, why am I saying that, twins?
For us,
right?
Yeah,
I think it's what's strange. I think it's older than 50 for us, though. You know what I mean? I see it as older than 50. But we were blessed to get a few awards on the 50th celebration of hip hop. We got
congratulations.
Yeah, a legacy award from Black Market Boston for performance, and we've done some shows with some legendary people. With KRS-One, we've been doing shows. We've done several shows with him, which almost like it came full circle. Because Curtis Blow was a part of one of our performances, and our first show was with Curtis Blow, our first talent show. We performed in front of Curtis Blow in 1980 or 79 or something like that. So it definitely means a lot to us. The 50th for us is definitely important for us.
Definitely, I think you guys have a lot of talent, not just in dancing, but it's a whole lot of things that you guys do.
What led you all to want to teach kids?
We even when we was younger, when we was around 14, when we was in our first professional dance group, we was actually teaching people younger than us. Like we would be teaching people at in our middle school. So we kind of started early teaching people. Other younger dancers would come to our house. We would teach them on our porch. So it started really, really early. And we started that, I think it was around 13 or 14 we started teaching.
No, actually, we was around 12.
Yeah, because we was tiny.
Yeah, we was in
tiny.
5th and 6th grade. We was like 12, 11 and 12 years old.
Because we wanted other people to know what we was doing. We was like, okay, we got to show somebody else. We got to show somebody else this wave or this moonwalk. So that's how we kind of started teaching people how to dance. And
we
then,
also didn't want to. We didn't want to leave. We didn't want to leave people out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we were performing, we wanted
to share.
We wanted everything to be about everybody, not just us. Even though we're the twins, but we still wanted to bring people on and teach them. So if we had to do a show, we wanted everybody to be part of a show, so everybody celebrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty much how. I mean, that's inclusion is a big thing. I know a lot of, and a lot of twins have that. It's an inclusion.
Yeah.
And though most don't like,
they wouldn't even think that twins would really want that vibe, but that's all we do too. We try to bring everybody in. If there's a crowd of people over here and it's a crowd of people over there, we want to make sure that everybody's in it together, so we all can kind of see and do and feel the exact same thing.
What makes what you guys do different than the, I don't want to say average dance, because every dancer is unique. Different from what's out there now or what has been out there?
What makes us different? I think
besides being twins,
outside of being twins, I think it's the content. I think it's it's why we're doing these performances, why we're dancing. Who do we want to be a reflection of, as far as not reflection of how we dance, but the purpose and the reason behind why we dance. When we look at all the older dancers, like, the Nicholas brothers and all these other different people, their dance was so important for the Black community. You know what I mean? Like it was about pride. So when people came to see them, they thought of like, almost like, wow, I can't believe this comes from this community, because it was dealing with so much racism.
Right.
So we want to build on that part of the Black performers before us, because people don't have to think we're great. They don't have to think we're good. They don't have to think anything about us. We can't tell what they're gonna think. Sometimes you see artists that are, everyone thinks is great, and other people's personal opinion is just like, well, I don't really like what they do. We never really worry about that. As long as we're like honest in what we do and why we're doing it, then it's good for us. But the content, as we get older, the content is really, really, really important. It's important that they leave with a different experience of what they thought, street dance or hip hop dance is going to be. Because when they see our show, it's not just that.
Yeah, it's not just hip hop and popping and
it's everything. It's like a musical. It's like Broadway. And we want them to leave with that experience, just in case they never see us again. We want to make sure that we make a mark on them. And it's not about being, a lot of people get into, I have to be the best. That's just, to me, is silly. It doesn't make sense to me. You can be the best that you can be. That's it. You don't got to be better than. You don't have to say I got to be better than the one to the right or better to the one to the left. You got to be the best at what you do. Be the best that you could be. Even when we perform, we're in a competition with each other and with ourselves while we're on stage. That's how we think. I got to be the best that I can be. I don't say I got to be better than Bobby when he dances. I got to be the best that I can be, and that's always been the goal.
A lot of what really it stood out to me is that you guys use culturally and what's going on around you in the stuff that you do. Like, I was really impressed. I think about, I want to say it's 2020, 2021, George Floyd. And y'all did something a few years ago, which I thought was, above great because you incorporated everything, even down to the movement of the hands, the movement of the shoulders, all of that. What drives you, even though we all know what's going on now, but what drives you to continue to do what you do
and create like that?
Well, a lot of dancers don't really go that, they don't really push to talk about stuff that's really important. Even like right now, there's a lot of stuff going on that dancers are never going to touch it. Me and Billy are like, we're going to talk about it. And the only way you're not going to see it is if you say you're not going to allow us to perform this, please. But we're always going to talk about it because that's what we do every day. So the dance means much more to us than just doing fancy moves and fancy videos. We can easily, if we wanted to, it's gonna sound crazy. If we wanted to, we can easily be just completely eye candy. Easily. It will be simple. We'll probably go viral every video if we thought that way. We've never thought that way. Me and Billy are not the ones that show up at the party and start dancing just to try to battle everybody.
right.
Most times we're sitting there and watching people dance. So that's never been us. We always want to make sure we're talking about stuff that is real important. And when we're doing hip hop, we're always making sure that it's really positive. Really, even down to the music. You're not gonna hear the N-word in anything we do. You're not gonna hear it. Unless it's something that's socially conscious and is a person saying it to us as Black men. But that's the only way you're going to hear something like that. So everything's positive, but everything has to be important that we do. All the movements, everything.
Wow.
I love that because it's like a standard. Y'all have everything is intricate, but everything connects. You can't do something about what y'all do without a particular piece, and everything fits so perfectly.
And you have your own lane.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I think for especially for us dancing today, we actually have to have our own lane because it's really easy for everyone to stay in the safe lane, even if they're great, to stay in the safe lane because the safe lane means you'll probably get more attention. The hardest thing to do is say, I'm going to go outside of that lane and I'm going to do things that's important to me, that means something to me, and not stress whether it gets a million views or a million likes. Some of the best shows I've seen, a lot of people don't know about. Some of the best podcasts are podcasts that people really don't listen to. You know what I mean? So that's always been the goal, is to make sure that we're doing something. And it's not like none of this stuff is fake. Like this is what we've been doing our entire life. So it's never been something that we're gonna try to do. Not about trying something new, but everything we do has always been from an honest standpoint. If we're dancing to we're dancing to Mobb Deep. We're not dancing to Mobb Deep because someone likes Mobb Deep.
Right.
We're dancing to Mobb Deep because we love Mobb Deep. So even when the music is raw like that, it's still going to be honestly from something that we love. The music that we love. It's not going to be fake. I'm not just going to perform to, I'm not going to mention certain, but Little Yachty because people like Little Yachty. I don't.
I think
that's not what we do. Other people can do it, but that's just not what we do. So why fake it?
and I think what makes you guys unique is the fact that you incorporate a lot of the culture, a lot of the background of us black and brown folks, and like that. And I think when you do that, and you being different,
right,
it attracts people.
Yeah, because when you go along to get along and you're doing what hundreds of other people are doing, then no one can really stand out because no one's different.
No,
but when you're just being different, that's when people start to notice, like, all of these people over here, and you're like, okay, what are they doing? It's different. And that's what we appreciate about you two. It's just y'all do things that are just totally different. Y'all incorporate so many different things and avenues and pieces that it's just like, oh, I wasn't thinking about that. think so, being as though, you know, when you are dancing, you don't, I mean, you can still have a mind and still see different things to kind of like pull up what you want people to see. So I like that.
Yeah. It has to be, you know, we wanted to be a reflection of, also a reflection of what we grew up on and what we appreciate and what we love. So if we like, we were blessed to do our first off-Broadway performance around was it a month ago?
A month, yeah, last month.
And it sold out. It was great. And for us, I mean, maybe for other people, you know, getting an off-Broadway show, your show on off-Broadway is not a big deal, but we grew up watching Broadway shows. So for us, it's a huge deal. Like it was a huge deal for us to be on off Broadway. For other people, it could be winning a dance battle. And that's their thing. I won this dance battle. I beat this dancer. So if it's real and it's honest, then it's always gonna be right.
Right. So when you guys were dancing for and with people like KRS-One and MC Light, is it is it difficult because maybe they had ideas to that how they wanted you to look, or they just said, you know what, I'm going to give it to y'all. Y'all do what you need to do, and just we'll see.
I'll explain MC Lights. So MC Lights was different because we didn't dance for her. She gave us a chance. She's the one that introduced us to Good Day New York.
Oh wow!
Which was major because she judged the talent show that we was in. And she was one of the people that picked us for the talent show. And what happened after that, you know, that's how we got on the Apollo Theater, because we ended up auditioning for Apollo Theater after we did Good Day New York in 89. So just because of the energy was right at this time, she invited us to the Apollo to perform with her, and Queen Latifah was a part of it, the Ladies First crew, that whole crew. So we ended up closing the show actually with them. But we did they said, we want you to do what we saw you do 2 weeks ago at the talent show.
It was like a 5-minute.
Yeah, so they gave us just a free spot to do whatever. I mean, this is in the middle of, you know, everyone's in the show. Like this was back in 1989, so that was like the golden era. So for them for MC Light to actually give us that spot to do what we do was crazy. It was crazy, but the energy was right. It was different with KRS-One.
See, it was different with KRS-One because, and you all understand this because we were just talking about it a little earlier. It wasn't really about us.
Yeah.
We didn't get all the attention because he's KRS-One.
Yeah.
So our job was just kind of to support what he was doing. So we loved that.
Yeah,
that's the same thing we did with Bobby Brown. It wasn't about me and Billy. It wasn't about the twins. It was about supporting what he does.
Yeah.
So we loved that. That's what we love to do.
And it has to be, you know, we wouldn't,
and we're not gonna dance for anybody.
Yeah, I was just about that. We're not gonna dance for we don't care about the likes that much. So if we dance behind someone or dance, like, we're gonna dance behind people, if we decide to do that, it has to be someone that we really respect them on stage, but once they get off stage,
it's really off stage more than on stage.
What they stand for. I mean, KRS-One stands for everything off and on stage. So for us, that was an easy brain. It's like, there's no way we're not gonna, you know, if we give a chance to do some shows with him, we're not gonna do these shows with him, because, you know, we kind of grew up at the same time watching him while he was performing. We did shows with him in 1989 as well. That's another full circle type of event with the whole 50th hip hop. These things keep coming into full circle with us. Some of the stuff that we're doing and we're being blessed to do. I mean, we didn't think we would do an off-Broadway. How about showing off-Broadway in the 50th year of hip hop?
That's good. And see, that's major. And like I said, when we see stuff like that, I mean, clearly the reason why is because you guys are good, you're unique, and you're different. It's just something about y'all guys to make people say, you know what, I like what they do. Let me showcase it to someone else. And it just snowballs into something bigger.
Yeah.
Which and speaking of bigger and other things, you dabble in some other stuff. What could that be? I think it's right before the interview.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, art.
All right, see.
Well, we come from a family of artists. All our brothers are all unbelievable artists.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to pick up on their art from just watching them when I was little, just doing their artwork. So it was kind of easy. I don't like saying it like that, but it was kind of easy for me to start painting and doing the things that I do now. Because everybody was an artist. My brother Brian does graffiti. My brother Al does like realistic art, and my brother Wes. So this was kind of easy. And now we're up to, I think we have 60 pieces.
Yeah.
So we basically have an art gallery in our home.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good because clearly, some of the stuff that you've posted, I'm like, they're dope.
Right.
I like the art. I'm an
Yeah.
artsy person myself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it? What do you find? I guess is more of an outlet for you?
So the art,
Yeah.
yeah. The art is definitely an outlet because we're so addicted to like documentaries. Like we watch documentaries and like all the time. We're watching documentaries. So in my head, when I'm doing the art and painting stuff, I'm actually doing a documentary, but nobody's not filming it.
Mhm.
So it's an unseen documentary. So the art is just really, really relaxing. It's really relaxing when I'm doing my art.
And it's a reflection of it's a reflection of our stage show because the colors and the sequence and the shine is the same thing that we wear on stage. The only difference with the art is that the arts, all of our arts, it stands for something. So it's not just, it's about the Black American experience and going through what we go through, but still being able to shine through it. That's where the shine actually comes from. That's why Bobby asked to shine, because it shows that, we went through all this, but we're still going to come out shining. So that's what that represents.
That was going to be like my next question. Like each piece that you both done, does it have a story? And you just basically answered the question.
Yeah. That's it. That's the story, and that's the goal, because I think for us, that's what we do as Black people in America. I always say we should be the stuff that Black people go through in America, especially Black men. And I'm not
Right.
taking away from anybody else. I'm just talking about what Black men go through. Someone else can use their time to talk about what they go through. I'm talking about what Black men go through.
Right.
For us to not be crazy is actually insane.
Yeah.
And people love hip hop, but they don't love why hip hop had to be created.
Right.
Not allowing us to blocking us off from everything.
Dance
studios, just every single thing to a point that we say, okay, then you all gonna do that, then we're just gonna create.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna
We'll
create.
do it outside.
We'll do it ourselves. Since you don't want to give us assistance, we're gonna create our own language.
Right.
And that was the beauty of it, and that's always been the beauty of it. So for us, being who we are and how vocal we are about images and all these different things with Black people, of course we'll be offended by some of the stuff that we see now. Because we have to be offended, because we see what it does to young people every single day. We work with young people for 30 straight years in the school system. So we see what music can do to young people. We also, our experience is that we knew what our dance teacher, David Vaughn, did for us as he was just 20 years old or 21 and 19 and 20 to 24, whatever age he was when we was 11 years old. We see what he sacrificed and what he did for us, to make sure that we grew up in the right arena, as far as the right path at the Lee School. We grew up in the area where all of us was at. Like everyone was there. It was us. New Edition, New Kids on the Block,
Johnson Crew,
even Benzino, and all these different people was around this area. So we knew the importance of being role models as much as we can to young people through what we do. And when we see, people being sloppy with our culture, even the people within our culture being sloppy with it, it sucks for us. Like it kills us because we watch the young people emulate the dumb behavior of adults, and it's not cool. You know,
How you said sloppy behavior, because most
sloppy.
of it is,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like there's slightly no respect for hip hop.
No respect and no shame. And
Right.
the ones that are the sloppy ones, they don't know that the person that's above them
Looks nothing
is
like them.
is not like doesn't look like them, and their purpose is for you to be sloppy and unashamed.
Yeah.
That's their purpose.
Yeah.
But
And to make money.
it hasn't really connected with them. They don't really understand why certain things are being promoted. They get to visit with presidents and they're on commercials. They don't really understand, like, wow, she's really successful. He's successful. Well, look what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's not talking about police brutality. He's not talking about any other thing except something ignorant, violent, or sexual.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't really, it's no connection now. And that's the fight. The fight is to make people aware of what's happening.
And when every culture is supposed to, mature. Like the person within the culture is supposed to mature. And I think Muhammad Ali said something. He was like, if I act the same way that I do at 50 as I did at 30, I didn't learn anything.
Right.
That's
true.
That's how we see it. So even, there was, I mean, I had to be immature at 30 and at 25, especially in comparison to where I'm at today. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if I was acting a certain way in when I was 30 or when I was 25, I shouldn't be acting that way at
Mm-hmm.
50.
Yeah, 20 years later.
Yeah, I shouldn't be acting that way. There should be an evidence of growth. So as artists, there should be an evidence of growth in every art form. You'll see it in other places because they control it. But in hip hop, since we don't really control it,
Mm-hmm.
you can't see it. And then the ones who are doing it and you see them being mature, you see the growth in music and R&B music, like people like Kim and all these other different people. They don't show that. They should always show there's no cutoff age in growth. It should never be. So why
Right.
have it in hip hop and art?
And specifically, since we're talking about growth, I think there's some other things that you guys do. If I'm correct,
Mm-hmm.
music, right?
Yeah, we do music.
Right.
We've
We've been recording
recording
since
music.
1990.
Yeah, the '90s we've been recording music. And we had a few times that we had little deals on the line when we was choreographing New Kids on the Block. So we've been doing music and writing music for a minute. We're actually thinking about just putting out the music.
You
Why
said something.
not? We don't have no. Why not? That's what we did. It's the same thing we tell we're doing the same thing we tell our kids to do. We said, listen, you do something that you believe in, just do it. It's like something when you throw something against the wall, it'll stick, and someone will say, I like that. That's on what's on the wall. I want to do something like that. So
Right.
yeah, we're gonna probably put it out most likely in 2024.
You also said you slid it in there,
Yeah.
real slide. So you choreographed who?
For what group?
Oh, New Kids on the Block. We did them. We choreographed lots of the Magic. Was it the Magic Summer
Magic
Tour?
Summer
I think
Tour.
the Magic Summer Tour, and there was other choreographers. But we was teaching New Kids on the Block when we were 12 years old. So this
Wow.
is and we choreographed a few of their stuff in 1993, I think it was, because one of the guys was the reason why we were introduced to the actual work inside of the studio. So
Wow,
yeah.
Impressive.
that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Now, out of all of the things that you do, what's the what's the best what's the best thing about it to you?
All the things. Hmm. Okay, let me think of all. I think the audience. The audience
Yeah.
is the best thing, and it's not about it being a large crowd.
No.
It could be
Mhm.
one person, but just the satisfaction of an audience member appreciating what you just did for them.
Mm.
Because our
Wow.
show was so personal. So even if it's 200 people or 100 people in the crowd, it still feels like a personal show.
Yeah.
So for me, it's definitely the audience, and that we're still able to do it, and we have so many different ideas. Like right now, we're thinking about we can do a 3 hour show if we really want. I was thinking of different ways to improve our show for the audience.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What
Um,
would you?
yeah. No,
What
I
would you?
would agree. I think I would agree with Bobby too. It's definitely for the audience. It's an
Right.
audience appreciation thing.
If you what if you had to change anything up until this point, would you?
Change. Um,
About our show or just about
just,
anything?
just in general, just
Any
the,
anything?
just the
If I had to change anything.
that's a tough one. I think. Oh man, will we change anything? I don't know because I feel like it all falls in the right place of where we're at now. I think we're gonna always have bigger goals. Like every time we do something, we don't get a chance to really think about. We don't get a chance to really think about what we've done
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
because we're so busy thinking about the next thing. You know, even
Okay.
when we got the legacy award, we was already thinking about what was going to happen next, and then we ended up doing getting a message from Karis One, and then doing those shows with him. But as we was thinking about that, we was still negotiating how we're gonna get
Broadway.
on Broadway.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always we don't I don't even know if that's a good thing. That'll be something I would change to
Oh.
actually sit back and appreciate some of the things that we've done that we should be proud of, and
Hmm.
we should be proud of. Doesn't mean that someone else is going to be proud of it. We should be proud of it. And the
Right.
only time we do that is when someone
Someone
starts
mentions in it.
someone starts running their mouth,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
we're
yeah.
like, listen, you need to chill out.
Uh-huh.
You need to chill out, and let me tell you some of the things that we've done before you start running your mouth about something. That's the only time we sit and say, "Damn, we did that." I mean, because there's
Right.
not a lot of people, we were. I mean, we did the Apollo 15 or 16 times. I can't even one of those times,
Oh.
but we could celebrate that, and then we can think about our brain, the way our brain works. We'll think about the Hines brothers and the Hines brothers doing it 127 times or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll think about the Nicholas brothers doing it for a straight year. So we can celebrate ourselves, but we're always thinking about the ones before us and
Right.
making sure that we fall into that same line of I would call like black excellence. And black excellence doesn't mean black perfection.
Right.
You
Cool.
know what I mean?
Now, what is the best and worst piece of advice you guys ever gotten?
The
Oh
worst
man,
is
yeah, we
man.
still getting that.
The worst was I don't want to say his name.
Don't.
You don't have
Because
to.
I
You don't
can't
have
So how
to.
remember.
do I explain the story if I don't say?
Oh my goodness. You don't have to say his name. You still don't have to say his name. You can just
Yeah,
say
you don't have
teacher.
to say
Right.
the
Like I
name.
said.
A teacher.
Okay.
Alex, you want me
Yeah,
to?
yeah. You tell
So
me. You
listen,
tell
right?
me.
We've been, we've been dancing since 7.
Hmm.
Um, so, but we're also basketball players. We come from a basketball family. My
Mhm.
brother Al was drafted. We were being looked at by Division I schools. We're basketball players.
Okay.
Like this
Mm-hmm.
is what we do. This is basketball and dance. That's our family and art.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, one of our teachers was like infatuated with our big brothers, Al and Wes, because they were great. They're great basketball players.
Hmm.
And then he saw us play, and he was like, "You all are just like your brothers. You all need to be playing basketball. I know you love dancing. This is in middle school. I know
Wow.
you love dancing, but you need to give that up. That's not, that's not going to get you nowhere. Go play basketball, get a scholarship, blah, blah, blah. And we was like, yeah, we love basketball. Remember, we're only 13 years old. We love basketball. We got to play basketball. I bet you we can do both. And we're listening to the teacher. He's like, no, don't do both. Do basketball.
And this is the same year we opened up for Run DMC in Providence.
Yeah, we was open, we was 11 years old doing these shows with Run DMC and all these other different people. So it was weird for him to say that and look at us like what we were doing at 11 years old or 12 years old wasn't impressive at 11. I'm just like, and we wasn't looking for him to be impressed, but we was probably looking for him as a teacher, especially as a black male teacher, for him to be proud. Right. I think it was about him being proud. So he's saying this stuff, and he was like, I'll see you all in a few years, and hopefully you all be standouts in college playing basketball, or you'll be high school about to go to college being. He was like, okay, whatever. So we didn't see him for years. I'm talking about at least 6. Mm-hmm. At least 6 years we didn't see him. And then we was on the train, extremely tired.
Looking crazy.
Got bags in our hands, just kind of drained. I think we were 19 years old, and we saw him on the train, on the Red Line in Boston, the Ashmont train. We saw him
in his fancy suit.
Yeah, he always had a nice suit on, and always had the nice mustache, and everything was all. And he was like, Billy and Bobby, and we just like, hey, Mister. And I won't say his name. I was just about to say Mr. Blah blah blah. He was like, oh man, what's going on with you guys? And we was like, oh, we just tired. We just had a performance. He was like, so you guys didn't listen to what I said, huh? We was like, no, we just had a big show. He was like, a big show. Look at you. So you guys, you should have played ball.
Should have went to college. Should have went pro, man. Could have went pro.
And I was like, yeah, but
that was him.
He said, would you do a show at? I said, well, this is gonna be crazy to hear. We actually just did Wembley Arena. And he was like, what were you talking about? I said, we was just at Wembley Arena for 2 weeks with 15,000 people every night with Bobby Brown. I said, thank you for saying that. Thanks for your advice. And it was actually, we was extremely upset. I'm saying it in a nice way, but we kind of went back and forth with it because we just didn't appreciate it. And I said, I remember when that happened, I said, I would never do that to someone. I would not kill their dream of what they want to do, especially if it's positive.
Yeah. And it sounded like he was trying to place y'all into what he wanted you all
exactly.
to do.
It was his dream was for us to play basketball or whatever, but it wasn't our dream, even though we love both, but it was just what he wanted to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm gonna do is, because we've interviewed before, I think like in 2021, something like that. And we know things have changed at that point, and they're not like the way it was, thank God. Mm-hmm. So we have this fill in the blank. We say this first part of the statement,
and you guys try to finish out what you think.
The same time?
Well, no.
Okay. That's gonna be tough.
Here we go. I could never have predicted
that we'll still be dancing right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say the same thing. I would never predict it.
Okay. The key to happiness is
self-love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
I like that.
Yes.
I like
that's the truth. You will never regret
seeing our show.
Yes, true.
Right.
True. I'm with you on that one.
But you might wish you had
seen it earlier.
Right. Especially if you didn't catch it. And play it again.
Right.
And I think I know what you might say for this one, but the biggest risk I ever took was
I think believing in myself. It sounds that's a risk to believe in. That's a risk.
Yeah, believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
And block out all the negative people.
I like those words. I'm going to really try to listen to myself with that one. That's perfect. sometimes I will admit I do doubt myself when it comes to certain things I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I like that was deep. Thank you. Thank you.
You know what? With that answer, how do you think a person who may not feel that great about themselves,
Feel confident,
how would they, turn it around?
What and we're lucky because we get to share with young people what steps we might have been hesitant to take.
Mm-hmm.
So like
and advice no one gave us.
Yeah, and the advice that no one. I was telling some kids today around six young queens, the blessing it is for them to be in the. I was giving them detention, by the way. They all have detention tomorrow.
Oh wow!
And I was trying to get them to look at the other side of the detention. The side that you have these black men in the room. You have 5 black men in the room giving them great advice about who they are as young queens, not telling them who they are, giving them advice about what we see in them as young queens. A lot of people don't get a chance to experience, especially black males, in education at all. We're at 2%.
No, 1%.
1% of black teachers are males, black males. So we know that our existence in the school system and our existence even as dancers and artists is very, very rare for different diverse audience to see it, especially our own children. My thing is I would tell them, don't be afraid to fail.
Right.
Don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid to. You should question why you didn't try, rather why you failed.
And don't be afraid to listen.
Yeah, don't be afraid to listen.
Listen.
Y'all need to write a book. Y'all need to write a book.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to figure out how we're gonna do this because we're the goal is to do a documentary film.
Mm-hmm.
And have people who we grew up with share some stories. Share some stories about our life as artists. We're trying to do it in a way to think about stuff like that. It could be. We don't ever want to come across as we think we're, the shit all the time. I like how twins are. Twins don't like all that attention unless it's about something that they love to do.
Right.
Twins,
that part.
I don't know about twins today.
That part.
Well, I'm saying twins
today
that work
twins that today work together are business.
Yeah, this we don't want. There could be some things we consider. We don't need that much attention. I think that's one of the reasons why when we were younger, we always included people. Yeah. Because we didn't want that much attention. That's a lot of attention. I mean, even still to this day, when we don't walk together. We don't walk together. We don't get on the same bus. I don't want all that attention.
Too much attention. We don't go to the same gym. It's way too much attention.
So with us and just the advice is just not to. Just do it. I mean, if the only thing you could do is fail, fail. Just learn from it.
Right. Never be impressed by
money and celebrity.
Right.
Because we have especially our people, we have a habit of listening to anything that someone says because they're famous.
Yeah.
We don't care why they're famous.
As long as they're famous.
As long as they're famous.
You could say a quote that is so deep, but you put the picture of the Radio Twins up with the quote, and it's really, really deep, it won't get shared as much. But you put that same quote with what's the disgusting dude that just spit in the girl's mouth?
Kevin Gates.
Oh,
you put Kevin Gates there with the same quote that you say. Now everybody's sharing it, not just and I don't mean everybody. You'll have doctors sharing it, lawyers, people that you would look up to will be like, that's a person that's a great person right there. But they will share that, but they won't share you making the quote. Like I'm always gonna have an issue with that. Even when we're talking to kids, I'm like, what's crazy? Your mother and your father are doing everything for you. You have the nerve to listen to me. Listen to them first. It shouldn't just because you see me as this person. It's them. They're the one doing it. They're giving me the leeway to actually be able to speak to you freely Give it to them. Don't give it to me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point. I
Which
like how you put that.
and it which leads into this last question. I hope people will remember me for
Um, dedication. Dedication to education, the arts, and children, and positivity.
Okay. And the last one I like to put, I usually will say two names, and you tell us what you think. All
Mhm.
right. LL Cool J.
I'm going to see him
Yeah, we're going
November 19th. Um, I think LL Cool J is
uh, undiscussed goat.
go. I think LL Cool J is just incredible. Just for his longevity. I recently watched one of his concerts. He has the same exact energy that he had, I think, in 1985 at the Lee School. And we actually we opened up for LL Cool J back then too.
Oh
Um,
right,
wow.
but he has the same energy and the same drive. He's dedicated to his family, his wife, and his kids. Like he's what rap is about. He's what hip hop is about.
Mature.
He's mature. He's not speaking nonsense. He's allowed himself to mature even in his music and his performances. Crossover to TV shows and acting that he doesn't get credit for.
Mhm.
Yeah,
right.
he's amazing.
Okay. The last one, DJ Cool Herc.
DJ Kool Herc to me is extremely important. My only thing is that there were people, and I don't want to disparage his name because he's extremely important in hip hop, extremely important. But there were people before the name that were really, really important as well in hip hop. And I think there's a few documentaries out. I know Tariq Rashid is coming out with one. There's one called The Founding Fathers of Hip Hop where they talk about everything actually pre Cool Herc.
Yeah.
But Cool Herc, it was I'm hearing more. I'm still learning more about Cool Herc. Most of the people that talk about Cool Herc were only 4 years old. Like Big Daddy Kane was just talking about Cool Herc,
Yeah.
what he learned about him, but he learned about him when he was only 4.
Mm.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
so I
Fat
think,
Joe.
yeah, Fat Joe. I'm not really feeling Fat Joe. I think he talks too much. Um, but I think I'm researching what happened before Cool Herc.
Mhm.
And I'm coming and I'm finding out a
And
lot
there's
of
so much,
information.
yeah, so much stuff that happened before Cool Herc.
Yeah, like that, even with, you hear about the graffiti artists and stuff, and then you hear about the graffiti artists before Basquiat. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff that was happening before um, Cool Herc, but Cool Herc is major and an
Yeah.
important figure in hip hop.
Now, if people wanted to get in contact with you guys, how would they do it? At least with your social medias.
Yeah, I have a TikTok. It's One of Twins 1980. I'm just starting to use it, but the best way is really to Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
We get most of our bookings from Instagram. We have a page, the Wonder Twins
Wonder
on
Twins BB.
Wonder Twins BB on Instagram, and on Facebook it's just the Wonder Twins.
Okay.
Okay.
And with there, people send us messages and requests about doing shows and interviews and different things like that. So we're using that, and we're working on a new website as we continue to try to bring our show to different venues, which is
Mhm.
probably the hardest thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
let us know when the website is up and
yeah.
anything you got, including the music, because we've
Right.
heard a few tracks and we
Yes.
love many.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
shoot.
See,
2024.
see,
Right.
And
There
we
you
see.
got
go.
There
and,
you
and
go.
And,
we
the music is not new.
yeah, that's what people don't know. Like we've let a few DJs hear it and they actually played it. But the music, we recorded an album in 2007.
No, it's
Mm,
2006.
2006,
Yeah.
and things were different back then. Things were
right.
different. Trying to get, I mean, there was no streaming, like there was none of that. So we kind of just put it on the shelf, and then we started listening to it again, and I'm like, this is smooth. It's different.
I'll tell you one thing without mentioning the name. It is a major figure in hip hop. His company said our music was too clean.
Yeah. Too clean.
And we'll tell you.
We met with them, and they was like, they was giving us names, because we met with a few people. I mean, we was at Arista Records as well, but we met with a few people, and they were just like, the stuff they were saying to us, like, yeah, y'all should be 2 in the chamber and all this other stuff. We was like, what? 2 in the chamber? Ain't gonna be no 2 in the chamber.
We've heard your music. We don't think that
at all.
We played music, and we didn't.
It seems like that record company was acting like the particular teacher that told y'all what they want.
Yeah.
He might have owned the record label, and we didn't know it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
yeah,
brothers, we definitely
appreciate
you giving us the opportunity to interview you guys again.
It's always a joy listening to all of the things that y'all have created, things that y'all got coming down the pike soon. So keep doing what y'all doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy and Bobby, also known as the Wonder Twins.
Did you see that? We need to send y'all when we get these done. We're gonna send you all these.
Like those.
Says Wonder Twins on it.
Yeah,
I like those.
Most definitely.
I definitely like those.
We appreciate y'all.
No doubt, man.
You too, brothers.
All right.
Respect.
Peace.
Yes.
All right.